After a long fought battle last week and a lot of drama, we finally have something nice for the Helldivers to experience. A new Warbond. Polar Patriots Warbond to be exact. A hot drop. And what better way to cover a hot drop than to hear what we have from Dr. Pooplove himself. So let's see what we have and let's try to take a look at how this might affect the game, and even at the end we'll do some very quick preliminary testing. Let's get right into it. Alright, so starting off on page 1 of the Warbond, we have what is the CW36 Winter Warrior, and this looks like some heavy armor, and it's got servo assisted, which is not new. I was kind of hoping for something new, but we already kind of knew it wasn't going to be new. I do really like this helmet though. It looks pretty awesome. And we also have a cape and little guitar instrumental. That's actually pretty cool. And we have the Dissident's Nightmare, which I like that. And on page 1, we do have a booster, fairly cheap. Motivational Shocks, which allows all Helldivers to recover faster after being slowed by an attack. I might actually like this because I get so annoyed with all of the things that slow me down. Not EMS strikes though, that's not gonna impact. All right, we have some super credits and we also have the AR-61 Tenderizer. All right, taking a quick look at some of these stats here. The damage is 60. Damage is 60, so it's about the same as the Liberator itself. And then 35 capacity, so I think it's got less. Low recoil and a little bit smaller fire rate and light armor penetration. So, I mean, we'll compare this to the Liberator real quick after this, because what the heck, that doesn't seem that much stronger, but we'll check that out too. All right, let's see what we have here. So we have page 2, we have the SMG 72 Pummeler, and this one's got some interesting stats. It looks like a little bit of a lower fire rate, but I believe this is the one, and we'll take a look, but I think this is the one that's gonna have a little bit more of the stagger, because one of these had stagger, so this was almost more comparable to the Liberator Concussor, but we'll check that out in a second. All right, we got Call the Helldivers, pretty cool. Super credits, Opinions of Everlasting Glory, that's pretty cool. We have here CW22 Kodiak, which also looks like heavy armor, and then Fortified perk, so nothing new, of course. Pretty cool helmet. I like the first one better. Opinions of Everlasting Glory. All right, Incendiary Impact. This one's pretty cool. This one could probably get you hurt pretty well, because I think the fire just is gonna be blown up immediately, but will be probably pretty useful in a quick pinch, as long as you can throw it away from you enough. All right, this one is pretty cool looking. The Arctic Ranger, light armor. It's got the Scout. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm probably gonna be rocking this a lot. And then we have this, which is like, I thought it was a hood at first, but I think it's not really quite a hood. Then the Order of the Venerated Ballot. Now this one I'm pretty excited for because it's a plasma weapon of some sort, the Plaz 101 Purifier. So I'm gonna have a lot of fun trying to compare this to the Plasma, to the Scorcher. It's medium armor penetration. It has charge up. So I think that's gonna be like the railgun, and it's explosive, which it basically, from the trailers, it's like you charge it up and it explodes on the enemy. 250 damage, so it's kind of like the Plaz Punisher. 15 capacity, fairly low recoil. And fire rate, I don't think that's too bad, but we're also dealing with some charge up, so that might slow things down. All right, let's see. We also have Distribute Ballots. I like that. Super credits, Order of the Venerated Ballot, and the P113 Verdict. Light armor penetration, one-handed. All right, cool. Let's see what we can unlock, and we will do some quick testing. Now real quick here, we'll take the Tenderizer out for a spin, but looking at the stats, it's very similar to the AR-23 Liberator, except it has less capacity, only slightly less recoil, and a smaller fire rate. So at the moment, it seems weaker, and we'll see if maybe there's something special about this. It is a high caliber assault rifle with a restrictive magazine size, but more stopping power. So perhaps it has some additional stagger built in. All right, so taking the Tenderizer for a spin, what I noticed was it has a basic scope. It does have some modifying elements, full auto, semi-auto, and burst fire. And it feels pretty good against the lighter enemies. Of course, it doesn't feel like that much different from the AR-23 Liberator, the basic one. And another thing I noticed is that even though it does say in the description stopping power, it didn't seem like it had a ton of stagger. You can see against this Brood Commander, not really slowing him down that much. The gun does seem to have some pretty good handling. I just think I'm struggling to really see what the main difference between this is and the basic AR-23 Liberator. The only differences I see are things that sort of seem to make this worse, at least at first glance. I'm curious to see if anyone else feels this way. Another thing I notice is that I don't really get a ton of impact from the motivational shocks. I'll show you another clip here. I run into this thing and I'm slowed and it just seems to take a long time. I haven't compared it against not having this, but doesn't seem like it's really making a huge impact. It could be because it's supposed to only be against attacks, but even the hunters weren't really making it faster for me. Now, taking the pummeler for a quick test drive, it also has some modifiers, auto, semi, and burst. Has some decent handling. The recoil is pretty low. Definitely that fire rate, and you can kind of see, I think whenever those like little mini explosions happen, that's like the concussive. So it's really going to be similar to the Liberator concussive. I don't know if it's going to be better or worse comparatively, but it's definitely, I think, trying to be another type of version of that. It feels, decent against the basic bots, but I also want to test out that stagger. So let's take a look. Taking it out against some of these berserkers, and yes, it does have some stagger. It does seem like it needs to pump a couple bullets in them first before the stagger takes effect, but it's definitely staggering these bad boys. Now taking a look at the impact incendiary, and I like what this kind of does. It's basically shoots up a fireball and rains down hellfire from above. Definitely, as I stated earlier, not something you're going to want to drop close to yourself or else you're going to get screwed. But generally, it's pretty cool looking. I mean, I love the fire rain dropping from above. But yeah, these are some of the weapons that I've been able to initially test so far in the Warbond. I'll say that so far it's nothing too special. I do need to obviously dig further into these things. I mean, this is just my snap judgment. These things could potentially be much stronger. We may just need to discover what those secrets are. And I definitely am going to be doing more testing of these things. There's definitely going to be more videos covering some of the guns in this Warbond. I'm particularly excited to try out the Plaz Charger. I forget what it's called, but I'm particularly excited to check that one out. But let me know as y'all get a chance to play throughout the day how this is doing for you. Do you enjoy it? What are your favorite things in this Warbond? Let me know in the comments. And I want to say a special thank you to my YouTube members for joining the Bowel Movement. But otherwise, so long, Pooper Troopers.